This video is going to be a review of how to use our reading strategies as we're reading a story. So this story is The Cask of Amontillado. This is the first story we're going to be reading in Unit 3. And so I'm going to read this first page, and I'm going to do our reading strategies to give you an example of how to implement them as you're reading. So the first strategy we're dealing with is predicting. Okay, so to make a prediction, I'm going to look at the title of the story. I'm going to look at the picture. And if there's any other headings or anything else that would help me, then I'm going to factor those in as well. But in this story, all we have is the title and this picture. So I'm going to add a text box and make a prediction. And my prediction is based on the title and the picture, I predict that this is going to be a scary story about two friends. Okay, so I don't know if I'm right or I'm wrong, but it doesn't really matter if I'm right or I'm wrong. I'm just trying to make a guess about what I think this story is going to be about. Predictions are useful because it gets us engaged in the story. We love to be right. And so if we make a guess about something, then we're going to be trying to figure out as we read whether we're right or wrong. So making a prediction helps us engage with the story. So down here, I'm going to be doing the last three: comprehension, clarify, and visualize. So I'm just going to read this first page, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to finish the rest of these reading strategies. So this is The Cask of Amontillado by Edgar Allan Poe. Fortunato had hurt me 1,000 times, and I had suffered quietly. But then I learned that he had laughed at my proud name, Montresor, the name of an old and honored family. I promised myself that I would make him pay for this, that I would have revenge. You must not suppose, however, that I spoke of this to anyone. I would make him pay, yes, but I would act only in the greatest care. I must not suffer as a result of taking my revenge. A wrong is not made right in that manner. And also, the wrong would not be made right unless Fortunato knew that he was paying and knew who was forcing him to pay. I gave Fortunato no cause to doubt me. I continued to smile in his face, and he did not understand that I was now smiling at the thought of what I planned for him, at the thought of my revenge. Fortunato was a strong man, a man to be feared, but he had one great weakness. He liked to drink good wine, and indeed, he drank much of it. So he knew a lot about fine wines and proudly believed that he was a trained judge of them. Sorry about those bells there. All right, so I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to do my other reading strategies: comprehension, clarify, and visualize. So comprehension is asking a question whose answer can be found in the text itself. All right, so a good question that we could ask is, why is Montresor wanting to get revenge against Fortunato? And we can see right here that he had laughed at the proud name of Montresor. Okay, so I'm going to go down here and I'm going to put in another text box, and I'm going to ask my comprehension question. Why did Montresor want to get revenge against Fortunato? So there's my question. I need to answer my question too. He wanted revenge because Fortunato had laughed at his family name. Okay, so that's a comprehension question. That's the kind of question that a teacher would ask their class. It's a question whose answer can be found right here in the text. Okay, Now, clarify is also going to be a question, but it's going to be a different kind of question. It's not a comprehension question. It's a clarifying question. So if you remember, these kinds of questions are questions that you need to do some research to find the answer for the question. All right. So a good way to do a clarifying question is to ask what a word means or clarify some kind of reference in the story. In this case, I think we really need to understand what cask is and what amontillado is. Okay. So for my clarification, I'm going to ask, what is a cask? So that's going to require me to do a Google search. What is a cask? And hopefully this loads here soon. There we go. A cask is a large container like a barrel made of wood, metal, or plastic and used for storing liquids, typically alcoholic drinks. So I don't have any issue with you copying and pasting an answer like this, a clarifying answer. So what is a cask? I can just paste my answer right in there. It's a large container that holds liquid. So we also need to know what amontillado is, but I think that we can maybe add some context clues together and figure out that it's some kind of liquid that's being held in this cask. And we also know that Fortunato loves wine, so I think we can assume that it is a wine. So the next thing we're going to do is visualize. As we read this page, what were you picturing in your head? So that could be any number of things. That could be, you could be visualizing somebody getting revenge on someone. You could be visualizing somebody laughing at Montresor. You could be visualizing someone who really likes to drink wine. And so for visualize, I'm going to put, I pictured in my head a big, strong man with a scruffy beard. Okay, and so I got that from right here where it says Fortunato was a strong man, a man to be feared, but he had a great weakness. He liked to drink wine. So, big strong man is a detail that I got from the text. The scruffy beard is just something I visualized on my own, and it's good to include those other details in there because you're just picturing it. Okay, so those are the basics: prediction, comprehension, clarify, visualize. Those are our reading strategies that we're going to continue to come back to. So I just wanted to make this video to remind you of how to do those things and let you know that we're going to be using these reading strategies as we read the entire story.